Good morning. It's Friday, May 8th. And the everyday thought for today really is a thought that we ought to be having all the time. The thought for today is humility. And today I want to invite all of us to pray and seek God for humility. Obviously for ourselves. And we understand that God is gracious to us and we need to be humble before Him. But I want to pray particularly, ask you to pray particularly for humility for our leaders. Because we're at a time right now of national crisis and concern, and everyone has a plan to figure it out and how we're going to get out of it. Some realistic, some not, but everybody has a plan. The one thing I'm not hearing on the national thing, and even globally from our leaders and elected officials, is I'm not hearing anything about humility. I'm hearing how terrible it is. I'm hearing that we've got to blame this person or that government or that situation or that policy, but I'm not hearing humility. And I'm struck by Daniel. He reports that King Nebuchadnezzar was a man who accomplished great things. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon are still regarded as one of the 7 great wonders of the ancient world, and they must have been spectacular. And one day Nebuchadnezzar is walking on the roof of this great expanse of gardens and structure and just beautiful plan, which to him represented some of the great success that Babylon had had under his leadership. And so he's walking along the roof and he's saying to himself, is this not the great Babylon that I have built? I have done this. And in response to a prophecy given by Daniel, at that moment, Nebuchadnezzar is struck with some sort of insanity or made to wander off by himself. We don't know for how long. And at the end of this time, when God restores him, at the end of Daniel chapter 4, Nebuchadnezzar gives this beautifully eloquent speech where he acknowledges God's greatness. But it's those last words of Daniel chapter 4 that I want us to focus on this morning. And this is my prayer for our leaders. Because the last thing that Daniel records Nebuchadnezzar is saying is that he is able to humble those who walk in pride. Those who walk in pride, he is able to humble. God is able to humble. See, sadly, some of our leaders, I've heard them talk even about our economy. Even our president has said this. This is the economy that I've built, the greatest economy in the history of man that I've built. Now, whether he means to exclude God or not, he did. And the only way things are going to get better is not by making the economy better, but by people being broken before God. We continue to ignore as a country the atrocities we commit in the areas of abortion and the hatred of God that we legalize when we say people can determine their own gender and determine what marriage looks like and determine how sex can be done. Those are not only national issues, those are global issues. And God is concerned about those things, and He will not be silent. You may not read it on the 6 o'clock news, or you may not get it on a news flash on your response from your news app or whatever news source you get. But God still notices. Pray that our leaders won't have to go through what happened with Nebuchadnezzar. But God will be praised and He will be honored. And I pray that we'll be broken and humble before God. That we as a church will cry out that God will bring humility to us and repentance. Yes, this policy may have been a problem. This country may have done something wrong to us. There may be all sorts of terrible things come out as we continue to struggle in this crisis that we have. But don't miss the fact, God is behind all of it. And He is able to humble those who walk in pride. So pray for humility for our country, for our leaders, and for our hearts. And that's the thought for today, humility. You have a great day, and we'll be back tonight. Lord bless. Again, love to hear from any of you. Any thoughts you have, get in touch, hit the subscribe button. Again, just thanks so much for being along. You have a great day. Bye-bye.